Fungal Infection Spore got a few massive updates, and one of them includes a new Calamity mob, so today we're going to go over everything that's been added to the mod. Starting with the new item drop from the Calamities, and these drops will be useful for some really good crafting recipe. First you got the Airborne Reforged Biomass for when you kill the Hindenburg, you get the Aquatic Reforged Biomass for when you kill the Gazan Breacher, and the Terrestrial Reforged Biomass for when you kill the Howitzer, the Sieger, and a new Calamity. There's also Fangs, not to be confused with Feng, dropped by the Preo Mills, the Neclavi, the Brokatse, the Wendigo, and the Howitzer, and the Spike, not to be confused with the character from the series Buffy the Vampire Slayers, drop from the Verdatorn. And we'll see later what they can do. But for now, let's look at the food that you can make with the Reforged Biomass. First, we have the Amalgamated Roast, crafted with the Terrestrial Reforged Biomass, some fungal sauce, carrots, and potato. This have a saturation of a 128 and applies 30 seconds of Strength 2 resistance, as well as 30% chance to apply the 10 second of Mycelium Infection. You can eat it without being hungry, and it's a pretty good item. Then you have the Eldritch Sushi. You craft it with Aquatic Reforged Biomass, some fungal sauce, a raw cod, and kelp, and the Eldritch Sushi applies 1 minute of Conduit Power and Dolphin Grace, but also has a 30% chance to apply 10 seconds of Mycelium Infection. Time 41, you don't need to be hungry to eat that. Finally, we have the Stuff Abomination, crafted with the Airborne Reforged Biomass, some fungal sauce, the brown mushroom and a red mushroom. This one applies 50 seconds of speed 2 and slow falling, as well as the 30% to get a mycelium infection. But there's not only that these reforged biomass can do. They can be used to craft the dense muscle that is used for more recipe, like the flesh helmet or the flesh leggings, but is also used to combine the living leggings with a dense muscle to make the living armor Mark II. This is the strongest armor in the mod. You absolutely need a surgery table, and to access the GUI, you need to click on the 3 papers here, so then you can combine everything to make the armor. For example, you need the living helmet with the respirator and a brain remnant to make a living helmet Mark II. You need the living chestplate, an airborne reforged biomass, and a rock constructed elytron to get the living chestplate Mark II. We already looked at the legging. You need the terrestrial one with the dense muscle to make the Mark II. And for the boots, you need the aquatic reforge and a fleshy claw to make the Mark II. The living helmet gives you water breathing when you're underwater and night vision for 30 seconds when you're sneaking. It also functions like a gas mask and block Madness 1. The living chestplate Mark II, while holding shift, will activate wall climbing ability. It also acts as an elytra. So this is armor with elytra, extremely useful. For the leggings, you walk slightly faster, you get jump boost too, as long as the leggings are equipped. It also gives you a step up height, which means if you equip it, you can just walk up blocks like it's nothing, making you run and go up hills just as a horse. Very thick. Anyway, and the boots allow the wearers to fall additional 25 blocks before taking damage, and make you swim a little bit faster. If you have the full set of living armor Mark II, you will get Symbiosis 2. Symbiosis 2 is a buff, and for each level of Biosis you get 6 heart, increase your damage by 4, your movement speed by 20%, and your attack speed by 20%. The hunger is also slowly drained, and you can use the Symbiotic Reconstruction enchantment to function. You can also walk through membrane, and block the Proto from seeing smart mob through walls if they have the effect. Now onto the new weapons. First, we have the Infected Cleaver, crafted with 6 fleshy claw, 1 living core, and 2 fleshy bones. You can increase it with an agent, and if you right-click with the cleaver, you can spin around and deal damage. There's a 10% chance that if the mob can drop its head, it will drop its head. And also, Disable Shield has a sweeping effect and is treated as your sword. Then we have the Infected Halberd, which means with 3 Hardened Bind, which are crafted with Claw Fragment and Mutated Fibers, 5 Flesh Claw, 1 living core, and 2 fleshy bones. So again, you can put an agent to make it stronger, and this acts as an axe, but it gives you strength 2 to the wielder when you're riding an entity. It does not have a sweeping effect, but can take swords enchantments. Then we have the Infected Chakram, crafted with 6 fleshy claw, 3 hardened bind, and a living core. And this is an interesting one. You can throw it, okay, maybe not like this, because I'm not in survival, but you can throw it, and it will come back, just like a loyalty weapon. If it doesn't hit a target after 2 seconds, it will come back by itself, but otherwise if it hits the floor or an entity, it is coming back instantly. It can also be used as a normal weapon just by left-clicking. Also, the halberd have a reach. Very useful against these. Then finally, we have the shield. The shield have 25 charge points, which when blocking will increase the charge. Okay, it's not working right now. Maybe it has to be in half hand. Let me try with something stronger. Not what I wanted to do. Okay, it got some charge, and when it's full, it will deal knockback to all targets in front of the user and deal 5 damage as well as giving slowness for 10 seconds. Now, there is 2 new science weapons that you cannot craft and can only find inside structures. First, we have the PCI, which is a portable cryogenic injector. And the way it works is by using a nice canister. If you right-click, you will charge the item. It has 25 charge per canister, and it deals increased damage depending on the charge, with Spore Mob being extremely vulnerable to that, bypassing even the damage cap. But even if it's not a Spore Mob, this thing will deal about 25 damage to a mob. And finally, we have the Reaver. What the Reaver can do is shave off things from the mob, like getting pieces from the infected. It has a built-in looting tree for Spore Mobs, and each type of infected has a percentage of chance that every hit will drop something underground, making it valuable to get pieces. You can find these in like hospitals or any various structure from the mod. Now for these new infected weapons, and if in fact every infected weapon or armor, there's 2 new Regent, which is the custom enchantment from this mod. You have the Serrated Regent and the Voracious Regent. To craft the Voracious Regent, you'll need 3 Feng, the normal Symbiotic Regent, and 3 Innards. And this will apply the Voracious Maw effect. So when an item with Voracious Maw is below 100% durability, it can be right-click in the inventory with a generic meat item, so like cows, sheep, whatever, to heal a maximum of 50 durability. And it has a unique ability when applied to helmet. When damaging an entity while wearing a helmet with Voracious Maw, there's 10% chance the wearer will receive 6 hunger. So it can feed you. And the Serrated Regent, crafted with 3 spikes, a corrosive sac, and of course the Symbiotic Regent, will apply the Serrated Thorn to your armor. And it's basically Thorn, but you also inflict poison and corrosion for 2 seconds when you get hit, making it a superior version of Thorn. If your weapon or armor have a negative mutation, you can use a syringe and right-click it to remove the mutation. Now let's move on to some new mechanics added to the mod. First of all, the CDU can be clogged by Calamity Mob or Proto Hive Mind when they burst the Spore. So you will have to break it and place it down again if you want to continue clearing the area against the mobs. If you hold a scanner in your right hand and a book and quill in your offhand and you scan a mob, all the information will be written in the book, making it a good way to collection every mob. There's 2 new mechanics you can change in the config that are false by default. You can make the Proto Hive Mind spawn at the surface. When they spawn, they will teleport immediately at the surface. Or you can disable the damage cap on Hyper and Evolve on Hardcore. There's also a new blacklist that you can add to the biomes. And now it's time to move on to the new mobs. There is 5 new mobs added to this update. First, let's look at the Bio Blob. This horrendous thing will spit at you or hit you in melee. And what's unique about these guys is that every kill they do will make its size grow just a little bit bigger, but every damage they take will make them go just a slightly bit smaller. I don't know if I can show it clearly. Okay, it died. And the things scale with the size of the creature, so the bigger it gets, the more damage it do, the more HP it has, and the smaller it gets, the less HP it has and the less damage it does. So don't let it become huge. It's like Shogat in League of Legends. And the next experimental mobs is a Sogling. These guys spawn in military structure, hospital, mining outpost, and it just did what it has to do. It hides inside chest, and you can hear it if you listen carefully. Now let's go in survival mode to show you how it works. If you go near that chest, it's gonna burst out of the chest and jump at me. If you break the chest for any reason by not going too close, it will also be ejected of the chest. Also, there's a note here that I don't like to see. There can be an infinite amount of Soglings in a single chest. Then in the evolved form, we have the Inebriator. This is an evolved scientist, and it can spawn naturally in laboratory, military camps, hospital, etc. And this is a buffing mob. If an entity, an ally, is near the Inebriator, it's gonna give it many effects. Like right now it has speed 2, regeneration, resistance, and if there's more than one, the Inebriator will randomly every 2 seconds pick a new target to buff. But if it's alone, it's gonna simply fight you. And the last evolved mob is the Protector. This is an evolved player. An evolved adventurer, in fact. When evolving, it's gonna keep the same name as the player it has evolved from, and when there's a target, it's gonna put up its shield, just like that, and block the damage while hitting with its shield, and also inflict mycelium infection. And somehow it attacks me in... Wait, hold on, what? Oh my god. I guess that's an oversight, but it tries to protect the mobs from me. That I'm creative. Look at it go. Bonk. Also, if the target is more than 20 blocks away, let's see if it can use it. Oh, there we go. It used an ender pearl to attack me. And now that we're done with simple mob, it is time to look at the new calamity mob. But just before we do that, well, first, make sure you subscribe. But second, there's a new crafting system, but not for the player, for the womb. So it's a bit complicated to explain, but I'll show you on the screen what it does. Basically, when the womb is eating mobs to grow, depending on the type of mob it eats, it's gonna get multiple different type of attribute. And it can stack, so if there's only griefers that the womb can eat, well, it's gonna shoot a lot of projectile. It can like has multiple attributes, and each attribute cap out at a level of 64. So every calamity that is now birthed from a womb is going to be different. There's not gonna be a single type of calamity. So now it's time that we talk about the, oh my god, the Holzfresser. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Anyway, the Holzfresser is a worm that, and it goes instantly in the ground. It is a worm, it is, there it is. It can break blocks, it can make blocks falls, and when it chases someone, it's going through the wall, and it can see through the wall. Let's see if it can see me if I go here. Let's go in survival. It should see me inside the ground. The screen should start to shake when it's going to be after me. I'm not sure if it can... Oh, yeah, there it is. But I know it can just phase through blocks like it's nothing. Leaving like no... Oh my god! Tunnels, just like that! Just like that. Okay, where is it now? Okay, I died here. There it is. The Holzfresser has multiple segments. There is 3 types of segments. A spiky segment, a normal segment. Hey, I'm talking, come back here. And a fleshy segment, like you can see the fleshy segment here. And these should receive a bit more damage. It has a range attack. Let's see if we can proc it. I don't like that. It also has a lunge ability. When it's far away from its target, it's gonna lunge at it. Just like that. And it's, oh yeah, it's vomiting on me. Ow. Oh my god, that was the lunge. What the heck? Oh, it targeted something over there and not me. Oh my god. So the further away a target is, the faster it's going to lunge at it. But it's only going to cover like half the distance, not everything. And I don't know right now if it's chasing me or something else, but it is pretty scary. There's so much stuff with this calamity mob. I'm not going to go over everything. The wiki's in the description if you want to look at it. There's one thing. So now, after explaining stuff, I spawned a bunch of mobs. Like you see now, there's fairies in the air. There's a few infected mobs. But we are day... Oh, of course, we're day 1 because I did set daytime. But if we look at the statistic, time played 0.81 days. I was AFK in the Witherstorm cabin for 50 Minecraft days, and there's no infection. Where are all the mobs? Is it because it's a cold biome and they just don't spawn? Like if I take the Eye of the Vigil, okay, now some of them are spawning, but it was day 50 and there were like absolutely nothing. I don't know if it's a bug with the new blacklist or if it's intended that mobs are rarely spawning in cold biome. I know they are weak to cold, but that is so weird. I was waiting for the infection to spread for the video, but turns out there's no infection except from what I spawned earlier. But the Holzfresser means that basically if you have an underground base, you're screwed. It's going even faster than the Howitzer or the Sieger. Like both of them, even the Gas and Breacher can dig down, but it's pretty slow and you can hear it. This thing you don't. It's going towards you and you are going to die. There's also a few balance stuff you can read in the patch note. I will not cover every single balance change, but the most important thing I think is some of the mobs has been nerfed. Mostly the Fairies, which was somewhere over there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, and I hope that this tutorial was useful. Now it's time to go unleash hell on this world. Bye bye!